I've reviewed that one, haven't I? I've reviewed Yognog. I've definitely reviewed this one, haven't I? Many a time. Everyone's reviewed Aramis. I'm sure I've reviewed this one as well. Hang on. I've got an idea. Let's do a challenge. So yes, good afternoon. This is a very different video and essentially World Introvert Day. We've just had that recently in January. Kind of got me thinking a little bit. So I'm an introvert myself. I don't really like going out to parties or being in big crowds or anything like that. I like to get up early, go for my run, as you know, on my own, talk to a camera with nobody around, and go to the gym and keep my head down. Some people probably think I'm miserable. Some people probably think I'm really boring, but I'm very happy with the way I am, and I just wouldn't want to change. That's just what I feel comfortable doing. And I know there's many other people out there as well. But also through my work, I've experienced different things. There's a growing number of, particularly in children, I find, who are non-verbal, and it's really, really hard for them sometimes to express their thoughts, their feelings, their emotions. And actually, a podcast I was listening to recently, Paul Scholes, very famous footballer, played for Manchester United in England. He was talking about his son who has autism, who's non-verbal, had well, he used to feed him a lot of sweets because that's what kept him happy. But he also had a lot of pain in his mouth, and he would be sort of rubbing his teeth like this, yanking them. They didn't know what was wrong because he couldn't verbalise it in words. And then about 9 months later, he'd been going through all this pain. They managed to get him to go to a special dentist, looked at his teeth, and yeah, they needed to remove him. He was in agony for 9 months, but it was so hard for him to verbalise that. So, think how difficult that must be for a child not being able to talk and express their feelings and having to try and show it in a different way. And of course, as parents or adults, not necessarily understanding what they really want, not really truly knowing what their problem is. That's really difficult. And it just got me thinking really with a fragrance review. Obviously, I talk to a camera a lot, I do loads of reviews of these. I thought we'd do a silent review today. How difficult can it sometimes be to review a fragrance without talking? So, what I've got, you would have just seen those three fragrances there. Of course, I've reviewed them before, I've done them loads of times. I'm going to set a timer with my device. You know the name, I'll say it in a minute so it doesn't go off. I'm going to give myself 2 minutes to try and basically with my hand actions or items or whatever, try and describe that fragrance and then see after. I'll talk about what I mentioned or what I acted on and see if you picked up any of those things as well, or you just thought I looked a little bit crazy. Got no idea how this is going to go. Fingers crossed it's going to work. So we will start with Aramis. Okay, so I've got 2 minutes then to try and do this without talking. So here we go. Alexa, set a 2 minute timer for me.
2 minutes, starting now.
That was terrible. That was awful. 2 minutes, first of all, feels like such a long time, and I don't even know. I honestly thought, right, I'm going to give myself just 5 seconds before we start it, and I'll come up with loads of things. So what did I try and say? Well, I meant, first of all, to say this was a big bottle, so that was that big theatric bit there. Obviously, I did things like smoking. That's because it's a smoky type fragrance. I had to go find my leather jacket because I thought I wanted to say, oh, it's a leather jacket. And obviously did the driving of the car. And I was trying to show that this is like a man's fragrance by doing this. And then later on, I thought, oh, I'll do like a shaving one to sort of represent it's a man's fragrance. You also saw me trying to like walk with a walking stick because I was trying to say it was an old school scent. And then I thought, well, how else can I talk about Aramis as an old school scent? What year did it come out? Because I was like, oh, it came out in 1966. So I thought kicking a ball. I was then looking over to think, do I have one of my old football trophies out? Which I didn't. It is really tough to try and talk about a fragrance without being able to talk, obviously, and represent it. Did anyone get any of those actions? I'm actually too scared to watch that back. So actually, when I'm talking now, I really don't want to see it. I think I need to go watch it back though, see if there was anything else I added. But essentially, yeah, I was trying to say like this as well. It's my dad's fragrance. Why am I pointing at myself? Really tough, really tough. I do not know how the next two are going to go, but let's go on to Yognog. Okay, here we go. Alexa, set a 2 minute timer for me.
2 minutes, starting now.
I give up. Alexa, stop. Didn't think I could be any worse. I think that one went even worse than the first one, worse than the Aramis. What was I trying to say? I don't even know. At the start, I was trying to go ho ho ho, thinking it's a Christmas fragrance. This reminds me of Christmas, by the way, but I didn't know how to represent it. All the Christmas stuff's obviously gone away now. I don't have a hat to represent it. And that's all I could come up with, just pretending I was Santa, terribly pretending I was Santa. And then obviously I mentioned, oh, you saw me doing this, and I was trying to really say that it was a bit of a gourmand essentially. And you would have seen my little sweet of buttermint. This has actually got butterscotch in, but I just didn't know how else to represent that. And I was thinking, oh, could I do something to do with pine with trees and stuff? But again, I have nothing in it that's piney or looks like a tree or anything like that. So I was really, really struggling. And then I thought, well, I pointed to myself a little bit later on. I was kind of saying, wear that for you, because it's like a nice cozy fragrance for yourself. You probably saw me do a hug. I sort of think of this fragrance as a Christmas Day one, essentially, with the family round. I did this like I was tapping a remote, watching the telly, essentially. And then I was doing that, just again, sort of pretending it's relaxing, sitting at home with the family. But it's impossible. With that 2 minutes, I think I did about a minute before I gave up. And I just didn't know what else to say. I did this because I was trying to say it was from Lush, like it's, you know, a shop where the beauty products, it feels like a washing bath sort of shop. I just had nothing. I just had absolutely nothing. And it's really, really tough. I don't know how I'm going to do the last one, but we're going to try it. It's Granado Limau Neroli Tahiti. It's a basically Neroli type fragrance. So, yeah, let's try and do this one a little bit better at least. Alexa, set a 2 minute timer.
2 minutes, starting now.
And breathe. And breathe. I'm rubbish at this. I am really, really rubbish at this. So what was I trying to say? I was obviously trying to say it's a big bottle. I did another sort of football one again because this is a Brazilian fragrance. I think it's from Rio de Janeiro. I think it says it somewhere, but it's essentially a Brazilian brand. Obviously a big football nation. I tried to talk about it being a calming scent with being sort of sleep. I did try and act out to say it's okay for things like running, and I was trying to say it's fine for work, and I was walking like this. I don't know why that suddenly was work. I started to do this, and I was trying to represent money, like it's expensive, but I couldn't really do that. I did that to sort of say it's a bit more like a women's fragrance. I don't know why I did that as a women's one. My hair's not quite long enough, really, but also trying to say it's a man's one. I did that to say it's more for summer, like sweat. And it's just really difficult. I could not think of how to represent this one, really. I also sort of ducked down at one point near the end and then stood up tall because I was trying to say that it's not for someone who's younger. For some reason, I went straight to height for that. I said it's for someone older because I was thinking they're a bit taller. And that's really all I could get. I held up a banana because I wanted to say it was more like a, again, fruity summer, but it's not really fruity. Yes, it's got lime in it, but that's not the same as a banana, is it? It's just a lovely neroli. It's more floral than anything. But again, I had nothing to represent that. And that just shows how difficult it can be. So yes, that is it for today. Undoubtedly the hardest video I've ever had to make. That was really difficult. Again, sometimes it can be hard enough trying to find the words when I'm doing my fitness fragrance reviews to describe these traces and what I'm detecting, because obviously you can't smell it, I can smell it, and I'm trying to recommend it or not recommend it in those cases. But if you don't have the words, you're someone who's non-verbal as well, and I don't mean obviously about reviewing fragrances, obviously that's just what I do for these videos, but it can be so difficult to try and portray that. And again, some of my actions today, it's really got me thinking, how's that money? And you've got to try and find, if you're someone who isn't confident talking around people, or you are non-verbal, trying to find an action that can make the other person understand what you mean, because you know what you mean. I knew what I meant when I was talking about these in those 2-minute timers, but did you know what I meant with some of those actions, some of those behaviours I was displaying? I'm pretty certain you didn't. You may know the football one, you may know pointing at a leather jacket, but there's other ones there where I'm sort of bending down, standing up, all those things. You're not going to have a clue. So, yeah, really interesting one for me today. That really got me thinking as well about how we can review fragrances, different videos as well. So let me know if you'd like me to do something a bit more similar. Again, any concepts. I'm really looking forward to doing some different videos this year, but obviously I want them to work for you as well. I want you to feel like you can come and watch it 6 in the morning whenever I upload them every day. But thank you very much for watching. As I said, that was a real interesting one. I am going to wear this fragrance now though, because actually it smells really good. It may not be a winter fragrance as I was trying to represent in my video, like so. But you know what? It's a cold day and I'm liking it. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you later.